Alrighty. So thank you all for coming. We're going to be talking about self-sabotage and how it shows up in trading, in relation to trading, at least. I ask that for those that are in here, or even whoever's watching the replay, try to put your phones on do not disturb, you know, be as quiet as you can, or be present as you can to just fully absorb this. I'll be going over 3 components of self-sabotage. It is a complex issue, which has like many components, but I'll kind of keep it short. And then after that, I'll go into like the tips, things that you can do to help relieve the issues, and how you can work with me after this. And then we'll do a Q&A at the end for like 20 minutes or so. So if you guys have any questions, you want to share your own experiences, we can go over that and I can give you some live feedback, or even if others want to give live feedback as well. So I'm gonna mute you guys real quick. I'll unmute you when the Q&A time comes. So again, if you guys don't have any, I recommend getting like a little notepad or something to write with, computer doc, literally whatever works for you. That way, if anything sticks out to you, you can make note of it. So the 3 things I'll be talking about today, or the 3 components at least about self-sabotage and trading, is emotions. I'm sure you guys definitely know about those. Not willing to lose or being stubborn, and scarcity thinking. And I'll kind of go into those a little more in detail. So the first one, pretty much emotions. You guys know about that. Euphoria, greed, fear, desperation, being impulsive, all that stuff, right? So as you would know, I'm sure if you guys have been in that state before. Let's say you've been killing the market. Let's say you've been having like, I don't know, let's say a week straight, no losses, and maybe like a little loss here and there, but all green days. And then you think, all right, I know what I'm doing. I own the market. I run the market. I'm pretty much unstoppable. So then what happens when you're kind of in that state? You start taking trades that you normally wouldn't, because you think you can't lose. Let's say if you don't even play, let's say, continuations, you only play reversals. Now you're taking trades that you don't take, and now you're going to start losing money due to that. Or let's say if you're like in the greed mode and you're up 100, 200%, and you're like, nah, I want 250. It's things like that kind of affect your trading in terms of that specific emotional state. Now, another thing based on emotion, let's say if you're in a desperation state, like let's say you just had a big ass loss and you're like, damn, I got to make all of this money back soon, ASAP, as soon as I can. So what am I going to do? I'm going to double down, triple down, whatever it may be. Play zero DTEs when you definitely know you shouldn't be playing zero DTEs, just because you're too desperate and you're like in that desperation zone to kind of get that loss back, and kind of stuck in that emotional state, as opposed to being relaxed where you can properly think, or being in a disciplined state as well. So the first one is emotion. And then the second one is if you have a not willing to lose mentality. So it's similar to what I just spoke on like if you have greed or euphoria. So if you're like not willing to lose, you can be on a roll again. You can have like 3 weeks straight making money consistently. But if you kind of get into the not willing to lose mentality, this will kind of blind you into thinking that you will always be right. So some mistakes that you may make as a trader can be like not respecting your stop loss. So let's say your stop loss is 10%. And since you think you're right, regardless of like whatever you're getting into, you may be like, all right, well, let me move this stop to 15%. That way I don't get stopped out, and and it doesn't make it seem like I'm wrong. Or let's say you move it to 20, 25%. So instead of taking your little 5-10% loss, now you're at 20-30%, or even zero. You might let it go to zero if you're playing options because you were too stubborn in not really taking a step back and reminding yourself that the market, it's uncertain. There's no certainties in market, period. We can't make the stock go up. We can't make it go down. All we can really do is just get in the trade, plan it out, and see what happens from there based on probability. If this is all making sense, give me a little yes in the chat or no. Perfect. All right. Thank you for that. So the third thing, oh, whoops, my screen just expanded. The third thing is going to be scarcity thinking. This one was a big one for me in the past last year. So essentially, having a scarcity mindset will be, to give you some examples of, you kind of become scared of the market and you kind of think that the market is gonna like take everything that you've gained away from you, or like, damn, like, what if this happens, what if that happens, and then you start making like a lot of stupid decisions. Some of them, like, I'm sure somebody or some of you are guilty of this. If you take profit too quickly, like you're like, oh snap, I'm up 3%, let me just take it because the market might bring me red and take that money from me. So taking profits way too quickly. And then one thing that happens after you take your profit quickly, it goes to your target of 20, 30, 40% gain when you just took your 3% because you were so scared that it will take that away from you. That making sense? Yes. Perfect. So I'm gonna jump into the like tips and practices. These are some things that I've incorporated that have helped me a lot. So in terms of emotions, or regulating your emotions, because at the end of the day, we're emotional beings. So whenever you hear people say like, oh, you got to get rid of your emotions for trading, you can't do that. We're emotional beings. That's impossible. All we can really do is regulate it. So I'll give you some examples. When you start to feel like euphoric or greed or desperation or even fear, anxiousness, whatever it may be, one thing that helps me is to take deep and controlled breaths from my belly. That way, it kind of slows down the mental and emotional process that I'm in. Because when you're anxious, you know, you're like moving around, you're like super tense, you're probably breathing from your chest, which indicates that your body is like in a fight or flight response. And we want to slow that down in order to, bring us back to like a neutral state. So if we're in greed, like let's say like on the top end, like you're happy, you're euphoric, or on the bottom end, being fearful or desperate, you want to kind of bring yourself back to equilibrium. Now, this is not to say like, you know, don't be happy if you make a win. Like you can definitely be happy, but kind of save that. You should save that for after the trade, as opposed to during it, because you may make some mistakes being in that state, or euphoric state, or fearful state, whatever it may be. So for emotions, some tips, again, breathe from your belly, slow down the emotional process so you can kind of come back to neutral state. And honestly, another big one is taking some time off of trading. Just think of it like work. If you're working 5 days a week, I'm pretty sure you're going to be tired. You may be anxious, or it may just put you like in like a state that you don't really like being. So literally just take a day off, take a week off if you want to, honestly. Now, the second thing would be not willing to lose and stubbornness. So when you feel like you can't lose or you won't lose, some practices that I incorporated and like really went deep into I won't really go deep into it here. Don't really want to spend that much time on it, but it's good to write down to remind yourself as like a way to rewrite or rewire your thought process, and reminding yourself that trading is based on probability, not certainty. So if you come into trading with a certainty bias, you're gonna fail, period. Because like I said earlier, when you're trading, certainty isn't, or nothing's guaranteed in the markets. You don't know if it's gonna go down. You don't know if it's gonna go up, and vice versa, whatever it might be, or sideways. So everything in the market is based on probability. Whatever setup you take, it could be 80% win, 20% loss rate, and you may fall on the 20% loss side. It happens. I'm sure we've seen that with proper setups. It ends up, we end up losing on it. It is what it is. And kind of just remembering to just keep it on a probability based, not, oh, this is a hammer, I'm going to get calls, or I'm going to go long and I'm going to win. It's like, no, you can instead tell yourself, based on this hammer and whatever other indicators or process that I have, the probability of me winning this trade is high. So I'm going to go long, or I'm going to get calls, whatever it may be. Making sense? Perfect. Glad to see. And then the last thing is scarcity thinking. So when you're in the like scarcity mindset or state, I find these exercises like literally the best to help around these things. So create a plan around your trade. What is your entry? What's your stop loss? And what's your take profits? When you have the trade planned out, you kind of, it's easier to integrate the trade as opposed to if you just like jump in thinking, oh, I'm going to get calls, but you don't really have a plan where you're going to get out on both sides, either profit or taking the loss. So planning the trade makes it clear and definitive on what's going on and what you're doing. Another thing is, like I said earlier, with the emotional part, is not trading. For me, when I was like really struggling with scarcity thinking, I ended up taking a whole month off from trading. Didn't look at charts, didn't take any trades. And literally when I came back, it was like night and day. Everything was so much easier for me to follow, so much easier for me to see. Patterns were coming back to me, as opposed to being scared and be like, oh my God, the market's going to take this money from me. Let me take my 5%. Or like seeing the negative as opposed to the positive in regards to whatever it was that I was doing. And again, as another reminder too, the market isn't going anywhere. The market will be here tomorrow. It'll be here next week. And if the market does go somewhere, the least of your worries is trading. I can tell you that much. So hope that made sense. Give me a thumbs up or a yes in the chat. The crypto market, the crypto market, I would say, yeah, the crypto market, I can definitely say it is scary because a lot of people did put a bunch of money into it, and everybody was really trying to like catch the bottom as like, oh, Bitcoin at 30K, that's the bottom. But we're at what, 21K now? They can shred it down to $1 if they wanted to. So it's definitely good to take a break from that. And then like, even from what some people, and even me, like looking at your positions every single day, like, oh my God, I'm red. And like that starts to mess with you. And like you stay in an anxious state, as opposed to like, all right, I'm red. Let me just go about my life. My life doesn't revolve around the markets. Unless you put your life savings into it, which you definitely should never do. But that's another topic of conversation. So the next thing, just some suggestions that I will give you guys to kind of help in these categories Definitely get a trading journal if you don't have one. I highly recommend getting a trading journal. That way you can notice some patterns within yourself. So, for example, in my trading journal during the time when I was working, I would notice that every single time, or most of the time that I would be trading while at work, I would lose almost always. And in your trading journal, document your trades, how you felt that day, if anything went good, and what made that, like how did that trade play out, and why did it play out? How did you feel during it? How did you feel after it? Or if it went bad, you can kind of talk about what you were seeing, but in retrospect or after the fact, what was actually happening. Um, also, having rules. Definitely set rules for yourself in your trading journal and make it a habit. At least I do, to read my rules every single day. This can be, for example, did you sleep properly last night? Because that always affects my trading in a negative way. So if I'm tired or sleepy, I do not trade, period. I take the day off. Again, the market's here tomorrow. You can try as well. Another suggestion, at least what helps me, is try to be in a community where you can talk to people as well. So let's say like Discord, Twitter, and Twitter kind of. What's this other app? Telegram. Like be in some type of community where you can kind of express some other struggles that you may be going through. Because as far as I know, from what I've heard from other people and even myself, like nobody in my family trades. At most, maybe my oldest brother like passively invest, but nobody trades, and like nobody really understands how trading can affect you. So, and especially in all these in some of these aspects that we spoke on today. So being in like-minded communities where you can share these things, you can kind of bounce ideas and be like, oh shit, like yeah, I've been taking my trades off super quickly, but they end up going 50, 100%, and I just took 5. And then that can kind of give you the reassurance like, hey, I'm not alone in this. There are other people. So I definitely suggest those things. Yeah, that was essentially the presentation over all these 3 things. If you guys, again, if you didn't take notes, that's okay. This is being recorded. Pretty much all of these things that I mentioned today, I struggled with in the past. Even giving you some of my personal experiences, and Pablo or Wayne, depending if you're from the Discord, Pablo can definitely attest. We've been like we would trade over the phone like last year. And as soon as I would get into a trade, I would like start panicking immediately. Like, oh shit, I'm up $20, I'm up $30, I'm up 55%, whatever it may be. I got to get out of here. And he's like, bro, like relax. Yeah, like there was a time like I literally jumped in, literally 15 seconds. I'm like, oh my God, Pablo, I got to get out of here. I got to get out of this trade. It's going to go against me. I'm going to lose money. And he's like, bro, relax. Like you just got in. So, and integrating like some of these exercises had like, dude, like literally night and day in my trading. And I just wanted to share this with you guys, and these practices, which have greatly improved and transformed my trading, or rather the way I trade, honestly. And it's been great. My trading's been much better. I have a system that kind of keeps me disciplined, and it works for me. I could definitely go deeper into it like offline, but that's essentially the presentation. Now, so Panda, the recording, after we finish this, I'm gonna upload it after it finishes processing. I'll post it in the WhatsApp, in the Discord. I can email it to you if you want to. That works too. But Yeah, I'll post a recording after this is done. So I guess just to catch you up. So next, so like I mentioned in the beginning, I do offer one-on-one coachings. So if you do want to go deeper into these issues and kind of speak more on that regarding with your trading, I offer one-on-one coaching sessions to walk you through this process and go in depth with your own personal obstacles that can happen in trading. Like for example, I had one with Pablo, and we discovered a little bit of some of the issues that he was having that was affecting his performance. I'll post my link, and I look forward to helping you guys. I'm gonna post it in the chat. There it is. And also for those that are seeing this live or seeing the recording, you can find this link in my bio on Instagram, on my Discord, my Twitter. It's in my Linktree link. It'll say a book a one-on-one coaching session. So hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope this made a lot of sense for you. And I hope it kind of opened some stuff up for you that you may not have even been aware of. So now we can definitely, if you guys have any questions, I'm gonna meet you guys in a second. Okay, meet you guys in a second. That way, if any of you want to share, we can talk for like 20 more minutes. I can give you feedback. You can tell me some stuff that's been affecting you. And yeah, we go from there. So let's see. Whoever does want to talk, you have the floor. Or if nobody wants to talk and you want to be shy, I guess that works too. Or if you don't want to talk, you could just type a question that you may have in the chat if you're not feeling up to speaking. All right, I guess I have a bunch of shy participants today, which is cool. Again, this is a vulnerable topic that a lot of people don't really speak on, and a lot of things may come up for us. I would say for some of my experiences, I remember I was making what, like 2,000-3,000 a day. And then when I like a lot of these issues started coming up, I will make like $50, $100 instead of like my usual 2,000. When I first started trading, and I would show my dad. I would be like, "Hey, Dad, look at all the money that I'm making." But after I started making a little bit, or like even losing, I kind of like felt a little shit. I would even say like I was ashamed, or like uh what's another word that I can say? Yeah, kind of just like being ashamed and shit. Like, damn, like I suck. But of course, in reality, you don't suck. At the end of the day, what happens in the market is not a reflection of you. It may simply, yeah, disappointed. You could be disappointed in yourself. Absolutely, that was me. I was like, oh, damn, I'm disappointed. Like, I'm here like coming across as like this master, and then kind of being disappointed and like messing up. But it's part of the process. Will I be able to ask you on the side after I watch? Yeah, Panda, you can definitely message me privately if you want to. You can either message me on WhatsApp if you want, or Discord, literally whatever works for you, email. Although through WhatsApp or Discord will be faster because we could just talk a little more. We can also, well, so you have a number goal. Yeah, we can definitely talk about that. I'm assuming by number goal, you mean like, oh, I want to make $100 today, or I want to make $200 today. Or rather, Juan said that. Yeah, Panda, WhatsApp or Discord, we can definitely link. Got it. All right. So Juan, I'll just talk really quickly about that. That was definitely a thing for me. Like, all right, my goal today is $150, or my goal today is $200. What kind of got me out of that is more so, instead of saying, let's just say for the sake of the conversation, instead of coming to the day with the intention of I'm gonna make $150 today, because that kind of brings you into the certainty or stubbornness of like the self-sabotage. And by that I mean, if you think and you go into it, I'm going to make $150, that's not guaranteed, because the setup may only bring you $50 or $100, or there might only be one setup in the entire day and you might only make $50. So if you come into it with the mentality of I'm gonna make 150, I need to make 150, you're gonna force trades in order to make that money that might be missing, as opposed to coming at it with a probability. Or you tell yourself this: today my only job is to perform well. Now, what does that mean? By performing well, I'm going to wait and be patient and be disciplined with my setups. If I'm only going to trade, let's say, a reversal hammer or a reversal shooter, or a reverse hammer, I'm only going to trade those. Now, let's say like today on SPY, I only saw 2 of those on the 30 minutes. So I would only have had 2 trades. But let's say I only made $200 and my goal is 500. I would have been like, all right, I gotta make another trade, because like I haven't hit my goal of 500. As opposed to, hey, look, you did a great job today. You performed well and you followed all your rules. You said you were gonna trade only the reversals, and that's what you did. Let's pat yourself on the back. Great job. Tomorrow, let's do the same thing. And if it provides 4 setups, cool. Now with those 4, I can make 200 if each setup would give me 50, if that makes sense. So I would definitely say try to focus more on the performance. Like, let me perform, as opposed to let me expect this. Let me know if that makes sense.
Makes sense.
Cool. Perfect. So yeah, tomorrow, I would say just write down some like rules for yourself or some guidelines, like what specific setups are you only going to trade. So, and also write down, this goes back to the trading journal. This goes back to figuring out what works and what doesn't work for you. So for me, for example, playing reversals is bread and butter for me. But if I try to play continuations, my win-loss is not that good compared to my reversal strategy. So just find whatever setup has been working well for you and just stick to that. Make a commitment to yourself. I'm going to only play reversals for 2 weeks or 3 weeks and see how your trading changes or improves, and then go from there. Yeah. King in yellow. Exactly. Same thing for me. So I made a thing. I'm like, look, I'm only going to trade reversals for a week. I'm going to see what happens. After I did that, what did I notice? You hate reversals. What I've noticed when I only did reversals for a week or two, I probably lost, I would say, about 2 out of the 14 reversals that I played. Huge win rate, and then you keep your losses short. Because for reversals, I'm catching the beginning of the move as opposed to the middle of it or the end of it. So I'm at the beginning of the move. So my uh, profit that I would lose if it goes against me is not that much, but I can make a lot more being at the beginning of it or near the start of it. That's making sense. Let me know. Good. Any other questions? Yeah, you can give a thumbs up reaction. That works too. Any other question that you guys have? Or if you want to speak on even your own experiences, you're more than welcome to. The floor is yours. Assuming any of you guys are typing, give it a few more minutes or another minute. In terms of routines, I didn't speak much on it, but I can give you my routine. So when I was doing really bad in trading, I noticed that I didn't have literally any routine and I didn't have any system in place to kind of help with my trading. I will literally go to bed like at 12, 2, like not even like 1, 2 in the morning. Excuse me. I go to bed at 1, 2 in the morning. I will wake up like at 9, 9:30, and then just trade off my phone. Like as soon as I wake up. And like it's like being in that desperation. That's kind of what I was. Well, you missed it from earlier, but that goes back to the desperation and like that, like being in that state and kind of like FOMOing in just to trade. But now, to give you my routine, I started trading 2020 and I think it was the end of June or the middle of July. I can give you my story like after I answer this question if you want. Yeah, if you want to, just give me a thumbs up and I'll tell you a little more about myself. And so in terms of routines, what I do now that has like really improved my trading and really slowed me down. I make sure I go to bed by 11 to 12. Sometimes at 1, but nah, it's all good. It's all good. Um, I go to bed early because sleeping is a big thing for me. When I don't sleep, my performance is disastrous. So I make sure that I'm in bed by 10 and I like shut off all like social media, all that stuff, just like maybe listen to some music or I'm not sure if you guys know, but like you can listen to binaural beats or like white noise podcast, whatever it may be, whatever helps you go to sleep. That's what I do to help me go to sleep at nighttime. Um, I do not eat 1 to 2 hours before I go to bed because if you eat that close to going to sleep, your body's gonna be like still digesting that food as opposed to focusing on like sleeping. So that'll keep you up, or it keeps me up. So I make sure to eat the latest. If I'm gonna if I'm gonna go to bed at 11, I go to bed I start eating at about like 9 will be like my last meal. So in the morning, I wake up at 8:30 in the morning. Well, actually, I've been waking up early. I wake up at 8 a.m. I spend like 5 minutes, just waking up, just being in bed, chilling. Then I do 5 minutes of my affirmations. Then after that, I do 10 minutes of meditation to, like ground myself, set the intention for the day, what I want to do, kind of like center myself, bring myself back to my body. After I meditate for 10 minutes, I stretch for 5 minutes out in the sun. I do a little workout routine. I'll do some jump rope for like 5 minutes. It really depends on the day, but jump for 5 minutes, get a little workout in, get my body flowing, my blood flowing, get that energy like moving throughout my body, get the endorphins kicking. Then after that, I take a shower, I eat, brush my teeth, then I get ready for the market. I spend about 20, 30 minutes um, either creating like another little watch list or editing my watch list for like pre-market level, stuff like that. And then this was a very big thing for me as well. Bear with my rambliness. I'm very passionate about this and can talk about hours regarding this. Anyway, so I made it a priority to only trade the first 2 hours. So 9:30 a.m. to 11:30, I trade and then I'm done, period. That helps me kind of just structure and balance out my day. Because similar to anything, if you do anything too much, it's bad for you. If you work at your job for 12 hours, you're gonna be super burnt out. You're gonna be cooked. So I make it a priority that I only trade 2 hours in the beginning of the day, period. And then I'll hop on here and there to see if anybody needs help, like monitor the Discord, stuff like that throughout the day. And if somebody brings a really good setup to me, I'll consider taking it like after 2 p.m. I never trade during lunchtime, low volume as such. But yeah, in terms of routines, that's one of my routines. I can definitely go into more detail offline. Let's see. Also, yeah, so to answer Joel's question of my story. So I'll try to keep this concise and not ramble too much. But I started around, actually, no, let me throw in the crypto. So me and Pablo used to work together. And when I got into crypto in 2017, uh, we uh, we put like shit, like 1,000, maybe 1,500 into trading or into like crypto. And of course, we're newbies. We don't know anything. We think everything is gonna yeah, this is our second crypto bear market that we've been in. So we got in, we were up like 200% in our entire portfolio. And us not knowing what we're doing, we just think everything's gonna go up. But when that crash happened, that was a big uh wake-up call. I think like for me, the $1,000 I put in ended up being like $100. Shit, if that, maybe like $50. Fast forward, that was I think in 2018 after that crash happened. Fast forward to 2020, that's when I got into the stock market. One of my buddies, he called me up like after the COVID crash. He's like, "Yo, bro, Boeing's $100. Buy a few shares." And I'm like, "All right, whatever. I'll just go by what he tells me." Literally in 1 week, Boeing went from $100 to I think 190 or 200. It was crazy. And I was like, "Oh shit, this is easy. I'm gonna put more money in." And as you guys know, the first one is always free. So what ends up happening? I put more money into it, um, and I think I put 1,000 more into the market, and then I ended up like shredding like 500 or 600. I think there was a moment that I had. Pablo knows about this. We got in some penny stock, and like I didn't know about like sell the news or like sell to the run up to the news. About I think it was Isaiah. It was trading at like, I think we got in like at 150, something like that, and then it went to $2, like the very like 2 days later. And then we're getting all this FOMO. People are like, "Oh, it's gonna be part of a Fortune 500 company. It's gonna go to $10, $20, whatever." And we're hyped. I'm up like $200-300 from the 1,000 that I put in. And then the news dropped. It was some bullshit like, "Hey, we're making a platform for artists that like nobody cared about," and it tanked like 50%. And I ended up taking like I took like a 40% loss. And dude, that was like, I was like, holy fuck. Like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I like literally sat in my car like that. Damn, what's that meme? It's like the dude that's just like in an empty pool, just like staring out into nothing. I'm sure you guys know which one I'm talking about. The Pablo Escobar one, that one. Yeah, yeah. So fast forward, then Pablo introduced me to this Discord, which won't be named. Just keep it anonymous for now. I'm sure, I'm sure some of you know which Discord. Yep, yeah, the OG Discord, that one. He introduced me to that. And what really broke through for me in the sense of like that I can make money from this was after we took our first signal, we made like, I think it was like 30% that we made. And we're like, holy shit, like we can make money off of this. And then like, it was just months and hours and sleepless nights of just studying like consistently and getting better at this. And then, of course, you know, as I'm sure you guys experience, you think you're a master when everything is only going up. And then 2021, yeah, I think it was 2021 March, really humbled me. That was really the, that was really the, that was really like the beginning of like the major struggles that I had with trading. And I would say after March, it was like a constant like battle of like making money, losing the money, making money, losing the money, making the money, losing the money. And like I was super low, like I guess to be open and honest and straightforward and transparent, like bro, I was super depressed. My relationship was like suffering. My thought process and like how I felt about myself was suffering. Like, you know, like if you kind of equate yourself to like how much money you can make in the market, that can definitely fuck up with your self-image. So I think my lowest point was like December, and I'm like, nah, bro, like I haven't made any money or any profit in like 2 months. Like something has to change. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna take a full month off from trading. Literally December into the end of January, I took like a month and a half straight off of trading. And dude, like night and day, like it was clear of everything that I had to do and what I had to fix. Um, I ended up getting a life coach, which I was telling Pablo about this and even gave him some things that my life coach put me on, which I applied to trading. And dude, like night and day performance, like night and day. My life is much better, I guess, to give you on the good side and like where I am now compared to before. Night and day, super disciplined. My days are scheduled because I had like no schedule routine back then. Me and my life partner are the happiest we've ever been. I've been more social with friends and stuff like that because as you guys would know, like if you're too into the markets, you're like hanging out with friends. I don't got time for that. I got to trade. So like really balancing your life, you know? Anything else? Yeah, I guess that's pretty much it from what I can think of at the moment regarding my story anyway. I can always go like really, did I take the mentorship? If you mean if I took BW's mentorship, yes, I did. And that helped me a lot. Yeah, so I think it was around October of 2020 when I took it. And then I kind of just like took his I took like his trading style and kind of like morphed it a little into mine. Although like swing trading, we were all hitting at that time. Like we will get something 100% in a week, 2 weeks, whatever it may be. But then in March, which was a wake up call to me, was that strategy that I learned and that I've been incorporating for like the last half year before March of 2021. It didn't work anymore. And I'm sure, as to keep drama to the minimum, but as you guys can tell, like swing trading definitely wasn't the wave anymore. It didn't work anymore, period. Day trading was really your best bet to really make consistent money, because swings, it will be hit or miss, especially with everything on a bearish downtrend. Yes, yeah, exactly. So if you swung shorts, you were literally printing stupid money. But yeah, that's essentially my story. I can definitely go deep into like each category. What I plan to do, or actually not what I plan to, what I'm actually working on is creating a workshop in regards to each specific part of my life that was affected. Because I took a poll recently and I've realized that so many people were having the same issues and suffering how I was suffering, and like having all these around trading in their life, all that stuff. So I'm like, let me share this with others, because it's helped me tremendously and I think it can definitely help others. So I'm going to be working on in the next few months and the next few weeks on workshops specifically tied to each individual category and going into detail of how I overcame like obstacles that I had, and like creating a proper system that really helped me in regulating my emotions, being disciplined, patient, and all that stuff to improve myself as a trader, you know? So definitely keep an eye out for that. And again, if you don't want to wait for like whatever workshop that I might have, I have my one-on-one sessions. You can always book with me at any time. You have my link in the bio, or in my bio, for Discord, Instagram, wherever you may follow me. The link is there. So yeah, any other questions you guys may have? If not, it's another 3 minutes and we'll end this. Also, thank you guys for listening to my story. I truly appreciate it. Sometimes, thank you for the heart, Pablo. Yeah, it could definitely be a little scary sometimes being open and vulnerable, but hey, that's the first step to being better, you know? At least I would say. But yeah, if there's no more, if there isn't any more questions, we'll end it here. Thank you guys again for showing up, and give yourselves a pat on the back, round of applause for you guys showing up as well. Yeah, Ariel, like, of course you're welcome. And definitely, man, like there's so many people going through this, and I really want to like put it out there that they're not the only ones, you know, and like there is help, like they can turn it around. Because like being in those dark places, like you can think that like stuff like that. So there definitely is light at the end of the tunnel. I can tell you that from experience. So yeah, thank you guys for coming. Truly appreciate it. We can definitely talk offline, Panda, or anybody else. Let me know. And for whoever's watching the recording, message me whenever. My DMs are always open, and I will get back to you as fast as I can. And yeah, I will see you guys on the internet. Later.